Howdy folks, thanks for joining us here on this cold Eastern Oregon range. As you can hear, the range is live, but we are here today to do some product testing and wanted to really show you guys how we do this and what kind of products we're using. So today, we're out here with the Thor Pre-Soaked Saturated Cleaning Patches. These are soaked with the Thor solvent, which we have found to be really good, but wanted to show you with examples how well this stuff cleans. So today, we're gonna be taking a cleaned muzzleloader with a mirror finish on the inside of the barrel that we'll show you here, and then we're gonna be fouling that up each shot, showing you the fouling as it builds up, and then how well this product does to go in there and clean all that out of it. Not only with this product do we have this pre-saturated cleaning patches, we've also brought some of the Thor dry cleaning patches that we're going to use behind that product to really get it out of there and get that muzzleloader ready for the next shot. So stay tuned as we dive right into this educational video, and hope you find it useful. All right, well, we are over here at the bench. We have our newest iteration of the Optima all set up with a very clean bore. We're going to show you the inside of that bore with the mirror finish before we go ahead and foul it with some of the 777 FFG black powder substitute, as well as some of those CCI 209 Magnum primers. We are going to be doing a 100 grain charge just to see what the fouling is like. 100 grains is a pretty standard amount. I know a lot of these guns are Magnum rated these days and you can run hotter charges, but for a lot of folks muzzleloader hunting, you really don't have to shoot all that far, and 100 grains will do most of what you need it to without recoiling too hard on the shooter. And then we'll load up that first shot and send it down range. All right, well, that's our first shot there. As you can see from that camera footage, there's definitely a little bit of fouling in the bore, but to my eye, I can just see the little powder granules and little bits of black powder left over all the way down through the muzzle. That mirror finish is no longer there, and you have, to me, what looks like a bunch of grit going down the barrel. But as we do, our second shot and our third shot, you're gonna see those walls just start to cake up with powder, and then we'll give that Thor solvent a test. Okay, that was shot number 2. As you can see from the camera footage here, we are getting more fouling in the bore. To my eye, what it looks like is just more texture, more granular texture throughout the bore. We're gonna go ahead and take our third shot here with this 100 grain charge. And then afterwards, we're gonna actually remove the scope. That way we can get an up close view inside the bore, and then another up close view as we clean it and show you how well that Thor solvent really does at just removing that residue and cleaning up this gun. Here we go to shot number 3. And that was shot number 3. I'm gonna go ahead and show you inside the bore here. All right, and now that the range is cold, and so am I, we're gonna go ahead and clean this barrel with some of those Thor pre-saturated cleaning patches and show you just how well that solvent really works on this fouled up barrel. So to get things started, I got my patch here. I've got a range rod with my jag on it. Methodology-wise, there's a lot of different ways to clean a muzzleloader. Some guys will clean from the muzzle end and scrub back and forth, leaving their breech plug in it. And some guys will clean from the breech end out the muzzle. I am of the mindset, I like to clean from the breech end of the gun. I can clean the plug itself when it's pulled out of the gun. I can either drop it in a part soaker or hand clean it with a leftover patch. And then all that gunk that I'm gonna be pushing out of the barrel, I don't want it to fall into my trigger assembly. I don't want to have any of that residue down in the action of the muzzleloader. So I'm going to push that all out the end of the muzzle. That way it hits the ground and is out of my way, and do everything from the breech end of the gun. So just to dive right into it, we're just going to go ahead and grab a patch and put it over our rod here. Oh yeah, a little bit of grit. Your crud ring is always the most dense, right by where the powder ignites. Pretty dirty, but the fun part is you get 2 uses out of a patch because you can just double side it. Just pulling our rod back out. Gonna go ahead and flip this guy over and go back on through. This is just 1 patch. That's all I'm starting with. Nothing too crazy. Nice. This guy would be considered trash at this point. But let's go ahead and take a look inside the bore and just see how clean it is after 1 particular patch. All right, and as you can see after that one patch, there's still a little bit of residue left in the barrel. Of course, it's the most dense right by where the breech plug is, right by where all your powder sits and first ignites. And it cleaned up really nice throughout the rest of the bore. So in this scenario, I'm gonna use more than one patch. The nice thing is these come in 100 count quantity, so you've got plenty of cleaning. But after just one patch to see how much finish is back into the barrel and there's no residue, I can tell that this might be a 2 or 3 patch at most clean for this particular barrel. Generally, I recommend doing this until your patch is coming out relatively clean. That may have a little bit of gray on it still, but as you saw from the last patch, it was like black in color. You could definitely see the powder residue. That'll lighten up as that residue gets less and less. And coming in here from the breech end, I am gonna invest a little bit more time into that first crud ring. Just do a little scrubbing. Whew. Yeah, I think I got most of that crud ring based on the color of that patch. Go ahead and double side it. Oh, way smoother. I didn't feel nearly the grit just by scrubbing a little bit on the crud ring. So that patch is spent. But I have a good feeling about that bore. Let's take a look inside. There's still a little bit of crud ring left over, but nothing too crazy. I think another patch would scrub that out of there just fine. And as you can see, most of the buildup when it comes to the crud or the fouling is right here within the barrel, right where the powder sits by that breech plug. The rest of this barrel has cleaned up really, really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and invest just a little bit more time into this last portion here and make sure this thing has a mirror finish before we hit it with the dry patches and finalize this barrel cleaning. And what I'm gonna do in this particular scenario, I'm just gonna focus right on the back end here, a couple scrubs. And I didn't flip the patch or anything. I'm just letting it foul up. Now I will flip the patch. I can already see it's coming out much cleaner because there's not a lot of residue left over. But just to be sure, we're gonna double side the patch. So much smoother. And let's take a look in that bore. I have a good feeling about this. That is a mirror finish on the inside. And after those 3 cleaning patches, this barrel looks great. So now just to make sure there's no moisture in here, nothing that's going to, I guess, create corrosion over time, I'm gonna go ahead and run some dry patches through it, make sure they come out clean, and then this barrel will be ready to be seasoned and put away for the winter. So that is coming out gray or brown from what I can see, which is great. We'll just do this final patch here. And then I would say that this barrel is clean. Go ahead and take a look at that. All right, folks, thanks for joining me here. I'm back at the shop. Wanted to share some of my final thoughts from my range day experience using these particular patches. I thought they did a really solid job cleaning up my muzzleloader. If any of you guys have experience using these particular patches or any other brand, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to comment down below. I can give those a good read, see if there's any wisdom I can glean from that, and get to try out something else. So look forward to reading those comments. If you found this video helpful, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe for future uploads, and thanks for watching, and God bless.